يدور رافائيل يلعب الكرة الأمامية. هل يأتي رابع؟ هل يأتي رابع؟ الله على كرة كيف مرت، كيف تصدى لها بيتر جولاكي. شوف هذه الخطورة اللي كان من الممكن أن يعدل من خلالها النتيجة. الصبر بشك شهير، لكن هي خارج أرضية الملعب. الخيو الإسباني يتدخل في اللحظة الأخيرة، خلص الثلاث دقائق. أمادو هيدرا سيغادر أرضية الملعب، وويلي أوربان هو الاسم القادم. يا ليت ويلي أوربان، حتى هذا مش ألماني. غير 5 ولا 1 ألماني. هنا لدينا الكرة التي تلعب الآن رأسية، وتقدم حارس المرمى كذلك ميريت كونوك، والكرة العالية لكن حارس المرمى يبعدها. وهنا مشاهدينا متابعين في كل مكان، تنتهي هذه الملحمة في النهاية. انتصر هذا الرجل يوليان إنجلسمان في مباراة غاية في الروعة، شهدتها 7 أهداف. شكرا للفريقان على ما قدما، ويصل الفريق الألماني لايبزيج إلى النقطة 9. ليلة كبيرة تجمع PSG ومانشستر يونايتد. شكرا لك.
هذه المباراة قدمت برعاية سوني وبيبسي، الراعيين الرسميين.
قد تكون قراراتك في بعض الأحيان خاطئة، تعيق رؤيتك للمستقبل. ربما تتسم بالوضوح دون ثقة، فلكل قرار ناجح توجد مشورة صارمة. مع QNB اتخذ القرارات المناسبة دائما في الوقت المناسب.
خلي الانتظار أقل والمتعة أكثر. استمتع بشبكة 5G فائقة السرعة.
राजू भैया छुट्टी पे हैं। ये मैं कर लेता हूँ और मैं ड्रीम 11 पे टीम बना देता हूँ।
India versus Australia. Dream 11. Make your team now.
may feel like you want me, and I guess in a way you do. Holding my breath or reveling emotions. I need some space to think this through. Call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a heart to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. Look away so you won't see, 'cause the pain is in my eyes. Feels like I could break it any moment and shatter your insides. If you read my mind, call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a heart to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I would rather lie. I would rather lie. I don't wanna fight. I would rather lie to you. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I would rather lie. I would rather lie to you. I don't wanna fight. Call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a heart to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I would rather lie. I would rather lie. I don't wanna fight. I would rather lie to you. I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie.
Well, I think defensively is not the strength of both teams. I think the strength of both teams is definitely the attacking players. I think both teams will give it a right goal. They'll both come out and try and win the game. And as I said, the attacking players ensure we should have goals.
Yeah, and I suppose Manchester United, I mean, the worrying thing is at the back, with particularly the pace of Mbappe and the cleverness of Neymar.
Yeah, and then it's going to come down to the cleverness then of the defenders. I think you've got the likes of Maguire and Lindelof. Can they use that experience? Can they be cute in not leaving themselves isolated? And that's where I think McTominay and Fred come in terms of the protection, to make sure they don't leave them with free balls, clean balls into the front mid for them to have to turn and then run at that back four.
Okay, let's get a word with Owen Hargreaves. He's down there. He's not allowed up with here because of obviously social distancing rules. So it'd be nice to get his viewpoint. He's down there somewhere. How do you see it going, Owen?
Well, to be fair, being down here, I got to have a long chat with Thomas Tuchel, and it was really interesting just on how he saw the game and what he thought was going to happen. I said it's open, you know, anything could happen, and certain big players step up. You know, I think back to Scholes and Rio stepping up in some of these big games. So who's going to step up for PSG and Man United? It's a real opportunity. Some top players out here, and I think we're going to have plenty of goals. Be interested to see who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, and tactically, how do you see it being played out?
Well, I think even Thomas Tuchel was saying he knows United are going to be happy to play on the counter and sit deep, which makes it quite difficult. You know, I think for them, obviously they want to dominate possession and play their way, but they don't come here in the best phase, as he acknowledged. But when you have two of the best players in the world, and Neymar and Mbappe on your side, you have a chance. But I think he thinks it's not going to be that easy tonight either.
Okay, thank you very much, Owen. The two teams are out on the field of play. You can see them for yourselves. Our commentators this evening, we've got Robbie Savage alongside Darren Fletcher.
Thank you, Gary. Good evening, everyone. So the players out into the Manchester night. A cold, wet night at Old Trafford with so much on the line in Champions League Group H. Manchester United sit at the top with qualification for the last 16 in their sights. The Paris Saint-Germain team went all the way to the final last season, but have made heavy weather of things so far. Some of the finest attacking players that European football has to offer will strut their stuff tonight in the Champions League. It's out into the... Paris Saint-Germain were comfortable winners here 2 seasons ago, a win that was more emphatic than the scoreline suggested. Their form this season is patchy, but their class cannot be underestimated. Well, David De Gea is fit and starts in goal for Manchester United tonight. There are 3 changes from the winner Southampton. Scott McTominay, Anthony Martial and Edinson Cavani come into the starting lineup for Matic, Van der Beek and Greenwood. McTominay's been a key part of United's 2 wins in Paris. Those victories have been with a back 3, but it's a back 4 tonight. Axel Tuanzebe, who was excellent on match day 1, is suspended. Paul Pogba is back on the Manchester United bench. Daniele Orsato from Italy is the referee, as he was the last time PSG came to Old Trafford. He was the referee for last season's Champions League final in Lisbon. 4 players return tonight who didn't play against Bordeaux on Saturday for PSG. 3 times Champions League winner Keylor Navas is back in goal. Marquinhos, Diallo and Danilo are the others who return. United old boys Angel Di Maria and Ander Herrera are only on the bench. Moise Kean, who's on loan from Everton, is up front with Neymar and Mbappe. Well, Edinson Cavani has announced himself as a Manchester United player with his recent goals and performances. His old teammates from Paris know what he's all about. United are also acutely aware of the threat posed by Neymar. So Manchester United are on top on 9 points, and avoiding defeat tonight is enough to take them through. 2 glamour teams, big clubs with an eye on the biggest prize. Lots at stake at Old Trafford with an A-list cast of players. So off we go. It's a big night, Robbie. It's all there for us.
Fascinating encounter. You know which Manchester United will show up. The team in the first half against Southampton or the team in the second. It's going to be end-to-end stuff. Really excited about this game, Darren.
Just one little note. was on the tactical lineup that Diallo would be at centre-back and Kimpembe as a left-back, but it's the other way round. Kimpembe, who always really plays in the centre of the PSG defence. He's alongside Marquinhos, and Abdou Diallo is out here on the left-hand side. Any thoughts on the Manchester United system, Robbie? Three at the back served them so well in Paris on match day one.
Yes, the two holding midfielders, Darren, Fred, McTominay, Van der Beek, and lucky not to start in that position. He would have been the one that passed it forward quicker, but you can understand why those two protective midfield players are going to be in the side tonight.
It's the fourth time the two teams have met. The previous three games have been won by the away side, including in Paris on match day one. A night where Manchester United's tactics worked absolutely perfectly. And Thomas Tuchel always seems to be under some sort of pressure as the PSG head coach. After leading the team to their first Champions League final last season, he now finds himself battling to stay in this season's competition. He needs his number 10 to play a big role tonight. Neymar, who gets on the ball here for Paris Saint-Germain, hasn't found the goals as easy to come by this season as he so often does.
Neymar took a bang on the knee there. Darren, as you can just see, he's pulling his sock down. I'm not sure where it happened.
Certainly something early on in the match to keep an eye on. They need Neymar to be firing here tonight. They need Kylian Mbappe in his ruthless form as well. Paris Saint-Germain rested players in Saturday's draw against Bordeaux, a result that means they've only won 2 of their last 5 matches. And they know tonight they've got their work cut out in a group that always looked difficult at the start. We thought it might be a tricky group for Manchester United, but it's turning out to be an extremely difficult group for last season's beaten finalists. Here's Scott McTominay and now Fred. And those two, as Robbie's already said, have a massive role to play in this Manchester United team.
Pleased to see Cavani in the starting line for Manchester United, Darren. We know he's a focal point, as Scholes said before the game. I know he's got number 7 on his shirt, but as a number 9, they can bounce balls off him. His movement, as Rio was highlighting before the game as well, is brilliant.
Marco Verratti finding Diallo, Neymar, Edinson Cavani there to pick up the pieces for Manchester United, who'd love to make a good start tonight. An early goal would certainly settle things down as far as they're concerned. There's definitely a solid look to the central midfield three of Paris Saint-Germain: Danilo, Verratti and Paredes, who are 3 tough customers in there that Manchester United will have to deal with. First corner for Paris Saint-Germain via Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's the first chance tonight for Kimpembe and Marquinhos to take their place in the Manchester United penalty area. Marquinhos was full of goals in Lisbon during the knockout stage of last season's Champions League. Corner delivered by Neymar, headed away by Scott McTominay. And they're appealing for a handball in there, Paris Saint-Germain. I think the player they're appealing against was Victor Lindelof. It wasn't the kind of situation that you would have expected Daniele Osato to see a great deal of. Florenzi with the ball in, Lindelof with the Manchester United clearance. There's been no indication on the screens here that any kind of VAR check is going to take place. This is where Manchester United was so good in Paris. Marcus Rashford. Good defending by Diallo.
It was clever moving from Rashford. He went in and then pulled out, and maybe the weight of the pass could have been harder for Martial to put it into his stride. Just had to wait for the ball. Decent defending. Just wanted to see Marcus Rashford be a bit more positive then.
Nice pace to the early proceedings here. There's Mbappe on the move for the first time, blocked by Lindelof. Neymar! And there's the early goal that Paris Saint-Germain were looking for. And it's the old 1-2. Mbappe involved at the outset, Neymar providing the finish. And PSG ahead at Old Trafford inside 6 minutes.
Good start for PSG. The ball's on the right-hand side. They move it all the way across. It's Mbappe. Good little play there. Poor from McTominay. The shot comes off. Look at Neymar. He's onside. Moise Kean leaves it. It's a good finish. Just watch. McTominay's got to do better there. Neymar with a finish. You know, listen to Gary and Rio before the game about forwards on the move. Anticipating was the word goals he used. That's what Neymar did. And he finds the back of the net, Darren. 1-0.
Well, it's the perfect start here in Manchester for Paris Saint-Germain. That's the 5th goal that Neymar scored so far this season. His 37th in the Champions League. He's 75th for Paris Saint-Germain. He's a big player for the big occasion, and he's got the Parisians off to the perfect start. Early concerns for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whose 2 statement wins as the Manchester United manager were in Paris in the Champions League. His first defeat, though, as the Manchester United manager was here against Paris Saint-Germain in this competition.
I think that when you're playing those 2 defensive-minded midfielders in Fred and McTominay, you know, that situation for McTominay, he was flat-footed, he didn't move his feet. You know, and it was Mbappe who went round him quite comfortably. I think he's got to do better in that position, because inevitably that's what you're in the team for, to stop those kind of attacks.
Well, that's the way the group looks at the moment after that early goal for Paris Saint-Germain, scored by Neymar. 3 teams on 9 points, everything to play for in Champions League Group H. Kylian Mbappe went down over there looking for the free kick, but didn't get it after the challenge by Fred.
It's a foul from Fred on Mbappe. His right knee, Fred caught Mbappe.
See what the Manchester United response can be. Here's Anthony Martial. Good defending over there by Leandro Paredes for the champions of France, the runners-up in the Champions League. They've now scored in 57 of their last 58 away matches. Their form hasn't been ideal in the early weeks of this season, but they've got so many big-time star performers in the team, Robbie, for situations just like this.
Just see 2 of them link up for a goal. You know, just wonder if United can exploit maybe Mbappe and Neymar not tracking back, and Martial and Rashford can go one-on-one situations out wide.
Here's Marquinhos, and now Marco Verratti. It's only the second time they've had Marco Verratti available for a Champions League match this season. He's had injury issues which cost him the back end of last season as well. Harry Maguire there for United, picked up now by Fred. Given away though, good save by David De Gea. It was Florenzi with a fierce drive there for Paris Saint-Germain, and acrobatically tipped away by De Gea.
I think it's a save David De Gea should be making. Decent strike, but Fred giving the ball away in those areas. Poor from Fred.
Here's Florenzi, the Italian international again. Now Marquinhos. Good start this by Paris Saint-Germain with the goal and dominating the ball. Mbappe, Marquinhos.
I think, United will be quite happy with PSG having the ball because they'll sit up and try and play on the counter attack, even though they're at home, because they've got pace out wide, and maybe the lack of responsibility tracking back from, as I've mentioned, Darren, Mbappe and Neymar might suit Manchester United, but they'll go down now. Here's a strike from Florenzi. Save Davide should be making.
It's a good strike by the Italian international, whose only goal in the Champions League was from something like 60 yards when he was playing for Roma against Barcelona back in 2016. It was goal of the season last season, I think, in the competition. Not quite as far out on that occasion, but he certainly caught it sweetly.
Already down after just over 10 minutes. Paris Saint-Germain with 70% possession, keeping the ball. Looks like United will have to play on the counter attack because in that midfield area, Van der Beek, who likes to play forward, obviously Fred and McTominay more defensive minded, as I've already alluded to.
Manchester United have won both times they played with a back three against PSG. It was a different story with a back four here at Old Trafford 2 seasons ago, a night where Paris Saint-Germain dominated the ball, dominated the game, won by 2-0. You mentioned that partnership between Fred and McTominay. Their resolve in the Paris victories was such an important part, but they haven't been able to stamp any kind of authority on that part of the pitch so far. McTominay is going to get the free kick there for Manchester United. The foul committed by Moise Kean. He's made a really good start to life as a Paris Saint-Germain player. 6 goals in 10 matches for them. He looks a different player than the one we saw at Everton. Alex Telles into Edinson Cavani. Huge night for the Uruguayan. And now the counter-attack on here for PSG. It's Danilo bringing the ball forward. Now Keane. Space out there for Florenzi. And the early ball in towards Neymar, and that wasn't that far away.
What a ball, Darren. Neymar made the run. It's a wonderful delivery. You can see Neymar's onside as well. What a ball. Look at that area. Keeper can't come for it. Fantastic delivery.
It's been a troubling 14 minutes, hasn't it, so far, for Manchester United. Rashford challenged there by Diallo. Early problems, Robbie, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
There was a thumbs up there, but I'm not sure what for. After the opening 14 minutes, just quite happy for Paris Saint-Germain to have comfortable possession. Maybe that is the game plan, but that game plan might have to change soon, being a goal down.
You mentioned the Paris Saint-Germain form. They only lost 5 games last season, which included the Champions League final in Lisbon. They've already lost that many in their first 16 games of this one. It's a start that's just increased the pressure a little bit on the head coach Thomas Tuchel, but they've got off to a really good start tonight. Rashford to Bruno Fernandes. That's a lovely little back heel by the Portuguese. Rashford with a shot. And it turned out to be a comfortable save for Keylor Navas.
It was nice play, but I think when Rashford got the ball initially, he's just got to whip it in because Cavani made the run to the near post. It was nice play, but in the end a comfortable save. When the ball was out wide, Rashford had a great opportunity. Cavani made that run to the near post, and the ball wasn't put into the box.
Fred didn't have the ball, but Bruno Fernandes could pick it up here for Manchester United. Now Anthony Martial. Telles to Bruno Fernandes. Finds a bit of space and then drives his shot straight at Diallo. Here's the counter-attack. This is always danger. Look at the speed of Mbappe. Now Neymar. Lindelof with a big job to do. Mbappe just forced Moise Kean too wide. Here's Kylian Mbappe. Now Neymar. Manchester United now have more defenders back. Verratti with the shot. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka with enough of it. Lifted back in by Florenzi. Away by Wan-Bissaka. Back in by Neymar. And that just had David De Gea making sure to his left-hand side.
Great play on the counter-attack, wasn't it? Neymar, comfortable save from David De Gea, but you're right, Darren. The pass to Moise Kean was just too hard, and with the rain at Old Trafford, it just, zipped off the surface. Way to pass, but looked dangerous, don't they, on the counter-attack?
Edinson Cavani's been caught. There's a much better energy about Paris Saint-Germain tonight, Robbie, than we saw on match day one. It seems to be in better shape and more purpose about what they're trying to do. They've had plenty of the ball in those defeats against United in Paris, but haven't done a great deal with it. But tonight, they look very inventive and very sharp, don't they?
It's more of a 4-1-4-1 without the ball. No space in between the lines because Danilo has in that position in front of the back four, so Fernandes has got to go out wide to receive the ball, because if he stays in that position he's marked. Just watch how many times Fernandes will leave that number 10 area and try and find space.
There's Maguire. Now McTominay. Not too many options there for Wan-Bissaka. Here's Fred. And Bruno Fernandes now has come out a little bit wider. Kylian Mbappe back there, and Alex Telles has given away the free kick.
And a silly one it was. Why is Telles fouling there? Where's Mbappe going to go? Silly foul.
Manchester United with Anthony Martial out there on the left-hand side, Marcus Rashford on the right, Edinson Cavani through the middle, Martial over the illness that prevented him playing against Southampton at the weekend. Manchester United, though, at the moment being controlled here at Old Trafford by Paris Saint-Germain. That's a handball by McTominay. It's actually going to be a free kick to Manchester United for an offside.